But yeah, the story of Winterspell, we asked so many questions and there were tons of theories, especially within the Discord, about what caused Winterspell, because this game's been around for 2 years. We've had winter sets released in the past, but the realm of Lorcana has never been covered in snow, and we official have the actual reason as to why. And the answer is simple, and I think it's something that we all kind of like
We joked about.
we joked about. I mean, we knew it was one of those things. It was the most obvious, and I'm surprised that they went with the most obvious route in a sense. But it was Elsa. Disney Lorcana does this wonderful thing. It reminds me of Kingdom Hearts in a way of it tells its own story, but it pulls so much from the original material of the movies and stuff to back that story up. So in the same way that Elsa lost control of her icy magic powers in the movie Frozen and sent all of Arendelle into this winter wonderland, the exact same thing happens in Lorcana. So if we go over to Lorcana's website and read this, it says flurries of fun. Get ready for the coolest adventure of the storm. Blah blah blah. I think there's a section with frozen cards on here. A frozen blast. Okay. As a mysterious vine begins to grow in the Inklands, this vine going to continuously be a thing that we see. We saw it in Henwin's Vision last set. We see the vine continuously grow now. There's even the card freeze the vine, which I think we have in the show notes here. Also got an enchanted version. Says an Elsa Glimmer attempts to stop its growth with her mystical powers. I still think last set, whenever we got that the song card, can't hold it back anymore. That yes, it was that song card, but just that text alone can't hold it back anymore. That she was referring to the vines in general, that she was trying to freeze and stop. Um, Says, but however, this inadvertently causes a winter storm to blow through the realm. In this adventure, you'll not only happen upon this incredible ice artisan, but other glimmers during crisp new looks. So yeah, Elsa was trying to freeze this vine. She lost control of her icy powers in the same way that she did in Frozen, and she creates all of Winterspell. And if you look at Elsa's art, again, we don't have those pictures here, but if you go in and you look at Elsa's art in this set and even the Let It Go, it's kind of as if that the vine or the idea of these flowers have mixed with her own winter spell type frozen powers, and you see that in her design of her outfit. I love how Elsa's outfits always change, whether it's Frozen, Frozen 2, whatever. Like she's constantly changing her look up. This lady, she's got like a magical wardrobe or something. But like it's almost like the flowers and plants are now entwined with her actual dress and her appearance and look this set. And the Illuminary completely frozen, and you see it in the key art of Winterspell. Elsa is in the same way that in Frozen she went to her ice palace or ice castle or whatever in the movie. She is now within the Great Illuminary and is just enjoying her isolation there at this moment. We'll talk more in depth about this lore and the actual like how we go from this frozen winter spell to that moment that you see with Rue and Kanga coming out of winter spell. What changes? What happens within the art and the lore and the story of this set overall? That we're going to go through that entire transition.
I think one thing important to note too is there's one thing, I think one pivotal thing we don't know about Winterspell yet, and that is lore cards. We don't know if we are getting lore cards in this set. And I think I would imagine it's a safe assumption because they've done it since, goodness, Arcasia's. So,
But
with the exception of favorites,
they've
but
also advertised it every set prior to the set's release. I feel like in sets previous since Arcasia's, by this time, 2 weeks out, 2 weeks removed, or whatever, we would have already seen a photo or something, or a reveal, or heard them talking about how there were going to be lore cards.
so I mean the art, they've done a really good job telling the story through the art, but just like you mentioned, the transition. I would really hope that they would have lore cards to help tell that transition because I think all cards are officially revealed, right?
Believe so. outside
of
of
this.
maybe some epics or something?
So I'm curious if we'll get it, and I don't know. We could sit here and speculate, but it's just going to be one of those things we won't know until we see somebody open a pack, or they come out and share the fact that they're lore cards. But I think it's so funny because like I think there's a lot of theories. We're like, oh, what if Slushy caused it, or
Yeah.
El
Which we
did
did get a
Elsa
slushy
sneeze?
card.
Yeah, we did get a slushy card. I was like, I remember inside the main stage, I was like, did anyone else think that like slushy was going to be the cause? But ironically, we've joked about it. Elsa sneezed, froze West Virginia, and apparently froze um, all of Lorcana as well. But and we'll mention this in just a little bit, but this vine. I think a lot of this goes back to Hinwin, right? Because Hinwin's vision, there was vines in the vision. Was that right in that card?
Yeah, so Hinwin is just this magical pig that can see into the future. So it was just a tease, and again, that was a Ryan Miller reveal too, I do believe, during one of the lore casts of him showing off the pig. It's like follow the trail, follow the pig. Um, but it's just Hinwin getting a vision of the future in the same way that Merlin has in the past when he hit his head. That it just shows us a few sets ahead. I think this next story arc or whatever is following the vine.
Yeah. And there's a lot more that we'll notice, and as we see it, Dylan and is working on something to provide that on a silver platter. We won't spoil too much, but there's ideas cooking, and
All I'm going to say, and this goes back to the lore cards too. Two quick things. Number one, if they don't put lore cards in, I think that it is clear that it is a intentional choice that they are making in a sense or in a way to be like, you want the lore, go buy these new books that what today Saturday? I think mine come in the mail on Monday. So these new books that's going to have all the lore for sets. For two, we've said it in the past. Follow your favorite content creators to keep up with the lore and keep up with the story as it's actually occurring. So you don't have to wait 5 or 6 sets down the line to get a book, which we love. We like the books, but so you don't have to wait. For those impatient and who want to keep up with everything as it's taking place, there's tons of content creators out there that are covering it for you.
And see, one final thing on that is you make a good point. I really hope that's not the case, that they're going to stop the lore cards to pivot to the books, because between experiments of more premium DLC emissions and events, and heavy merchandising and whatnot. Oh, like it kind of goes back to my point in the last episode, was I really dislike how we're gonna have to pay to get access to lore.
Yep.
And I hope we'll see what happens, but I really hope that they don't go that route, because that's going to be a little, I don't know, that seems a little squeezy, if
Mm-hmm.
you catch my drift. That's a little squeezy on merchandising, but we'll let that lie for a future segment.